Hello guys, welcome back to Assetto Corsa, and today we're racing at Silverstone in the McLaren MP4.
Yep, this is the most successful Formula One car of all time. It raced in the 1988 season, and at the wheel was none other than Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. And this was quite a battle they had throughout the season, and it won 15 out of the 16 races with 15 poles and 10 fastest laps.
Wow. I'm going to be mean to you now. Who won the other one?
Who won the other one? Hold on. I know this. Nigel Mansell in the... was it Nigel Mansell? No. Gerhard Berger in the Ferrari. And it was the race after... It was the first race after Enzo Ferrari died.
Wow, okay.
There we go.
Damn, I tried to get... Okay, I'll try harder next time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Gerhard Berger in the Ferrari. It was definitely a Ferrari win.
Okay.
So there we go.
Right, okay,
anything else you want to try?
If I do remember anything, I'll get back. Yeah,
right, okay,
I'll get
fair
back to you.
enough. Designed by Steve Nichols, a very, very, very good designer, American designer, and it was also assisted in design by then technical director Gordon Murray of McLaren, who incidentally designed the McLaren F1, which is a car we like a lot. You know, until the Bugatti Veyron was the fastest car around, and it was so you can see it, good hands, definitely in good hands, and. You just knew that this car was going to be successful, or well, they knew that this car was going to be successful just with the way it drove. This one new regulations in this year, so you know the previous year you'd had 900 bhp.
Okay.
This year you had 675 bhp, 12,500 RPM.
Quite a lot of you know, they've cut it down quite a lot.
Massive drop.
Yeah.
This was, remember we had that Lotus 98T.
Yeah.
This was, I think, a couple of years after that. I think the 98T was 1986.
Yeah.
This was 1988. So you had that. You had a 1.5 litre twin turbo V6. So still a V6 engine, but this is a good sounding V6 engine. Yeah. And you're going to see I'm going to slide a lot in this. You're going to see my sliding in, if I remember, 60 frames per second. Yeah. You're going to see my sliding in 60 frames per second. Yeah. But it was a lot less powerful.
You mentioned sound, but we did pick up on one thing. Well, we'll mention. I know we're gonna go through it. While we're talking about sound, and let's get our little gripe out of the way.
Yeah.
On the actual McLaren, you notice a growl.
Yeah.
In real life, this tends not to have one.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, the McLaren. When we heard that McLaren, it's you know that McLaren. Yeah. It's that McLaren Honda V6 sound that everyone wants.
Yeah.
It's the sound that they're trying to get back in Formula One, and it hasn't worked. It really hasn't worked. And of course, the other thing that hasn't worked is McLaren teamed up with Honda and so let's go back to 1988. No, they didn't. I mean, their car is as slow as 1966 cars at the moment. But actually, that being said, past couple of weeks pre-season testing, not too bad. Not too bad for the 2016 season. So you never know. These days for McLaren could be returning with McLaren Honda. But yeah, like you said, the sound is not... it's there. The sound's good and it's all there. But compared to the real car, there's this growl that you said is missing. Yeah. It is definitely missing. But
we noticed that straight away, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, because, you know, when you look at the replays, you these old cars, you know what they sounded like, especially... For Formula One fans, they watch these old races because these are the top class races, and you know what they all sound like.
At the moment, you're like Bambi on ice.
Yeah. You know, you haven't said that in a long time.
I know. I thought I'd mention
there we go again. But see, I'm going to talk about this in a minute because it felt really, really strange as I was doing that. So I am going to talk about that in a minute. We'll finish off the specs though. 420 Newton meters of torque at 10,000 RPM, which not bad. Not bad at all, and it was propelled up to a max speed of 205 miles an hour. So realistically, these cars haven't got much faster, have they, over the years?
No.
They still do around 215, 220 miles an hour.
That's because of limits, and obviously because they can't go around the track.
Exactly.
All the corners.
There's no point doing. There's no
Yeah.
point pushing it to 250, 260, 270.
Yeah.
They do about 215, 220 now. And what is this now? Almost 30 years ago. Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Almost 30 years ago, they were still doing 205 miles an hour, which is pretty good. It only weighs 540 kilos as well.
So its weight to power ratio is pretty.
Yeah,
really
very
good.
very good. It's quite light. You're actually looking at, I think, its power to weight ratio. You're looking at almost 1,200 bhp per ton.
Wow.
Something like that. And it's because it's it's made out of a carbon fiber honeycomb monocoque.
Yeah.
So again, we moved away from those steel chassis and everything through the 70s, and then moved into these, and then we moved into carbon fiber and honeycomb lattices and things like that. So it just brought the weight down, while the power was going up and up and up. So you ended up with pretty fast cars, like really fast cars. And of course, this was coupled with a 6-speed manual gearbox. So no paddle shifters back then. I think it was 1993 when paddle shifters first came in, or 1992 perhaps. It was the first or second year that Michael Schumacher was racing in Formula 1.
Yeah, I don't think it was definitely early 90s.
Yeah, it was because after that they moved to semi-automatic or paddle shifters and all of those, and that's how they've remained to this day. Apart from more and more gears, I think we've got 8 gears now, which I don't like. No. I think six was more than enough. 7 perhaps, but six definitely more than enough. But that's enough about this car. We'll go into the mod information and then our observations.
Yeah.
So uploaded by Syncmaster,
which
we've heard his name before. He did the the International Formula Master. Maybe that's where he puts his name from, Syncmaster. I don't know. The team. Here we go. Again, it's down to naming.
Apologies in advance.
Yeah, apologies in advance. You gonna do it or shall I?
We'll both have a go.
All right.
Petros Mack.
Raymond Schramm.
Yep. Wandy Sanchez.
Stefan Young. Ha! I got an easy one.
David Dominguez. David or David Dominguez? I don't know.
I don't know. I suppose David would have an E at the end, wouldn't it? At the end of the name.
No.
No?
No.
And the last one, Alvaro Perez.
Yeah.
I can say the Perez part, definitely, since there's a Sergio Perez in Formula 1, so we know how to do that. At least we're not as bad as David Coulthard, who for 6 years couldn't say Vettel. It's Sebastian Vettel. Right, he couldn't say Vettel, but yeah. And it's 115 meg in zipped, so that's not a bad download. And only 325 meg when it's installed. So again, that's not bad for a car of this quality, and we will get onto the quality in a bit. That's pretty good. Again, we're now going to compare it to that Koenigsegg that was 1.4 gig. Admittedly, that Koenigsegg was a 12 out of 10.
Yeah,
but
it was still it was a lot of in-depth.
Yeah, there was a lot going on that. It's a lot less. It's smaller in size. It's much easier for people to enjoy, especially those with, like I said, less space on hard drives. And with game sizes nowadays, you're going to get that. It also comes with both Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna's liveries, and they're included in various forms. So you actually get four each.
Yeah.
One with the tobacco sponsorship, one with the tobacco bar sponsorship, one with the McLaren one, which is what we're driving, and one that's just completely plain white without any sponsorship at all. So four different liveries, which I believe all 4 were raced in the 1988 season. So they've got all 4 running there, which I think that's pretty nice. Nice for them to include that. Observations. Time to get on to the car.
It's modelled quite well.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. Because I've not had a chance to drive it, but I'm just looking at it. Just the aesthetics.
Yeah, the aesthetics.
Yeah, it's aesthetics. I never get it right. It's modelled pretty well.
It is modelled really, really well. It looks pretty good as well. The car itself is a good-looking car. The actual MP4 is a good-looking car. It's modelled very well in game. Texturing, while we're talking about textures and model, we can talk about the textures as well. Very, very well done. Everything looks really
steering
nice.
wheel. We're just looking at texture on the steering wheel. That is,
I like the displays at the back as well.
Yeah, I'm talking about the shine, and you can it's got that grainy feel as well.
It looks like just a standard racing wheel of the 80s.
And they've not gone over the top to make it look more realistic. It just is realistic the way it is.
Yeah, exactly.
If you know what I mean.
They haven't tried to go over the top and make extra ultra detail where it stops looking realistic.
And
They've
it's
just
not
gone,
needed.
Here we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
They've
That's as best as we can do, which is probably what contributes to the low file size.
Yeah.
Is that they haven't tried to go super over the top.
But no, I'm not. But I'm saying that it's quite.
It's very in depth. I mean, I like the Goodyear tires. You can just see the Goodyear tires spinning as I'm spinning them. I mean, I'm gonna spin off again. I think once or twice more, so you'll see them when it stops. You can clearly read Goodyear there. Fantastic textures, and they've got damage textures as well, which is pretty neat. They've actually got damage textures.
Sorry,
I just saw him leaning underneath the mic, looking at the screen.
Yeah, I was just looking at the actual, the whole thing, and I can't fault it.
No,
I was trying to find it, because we know what to look for in other cars, and say, but they've actually done it quite well. I'm sorry, I'm going again. If I knock the mic, sorry, but really well done. It
is pretty well done. There you go. You can see read Goodyear Eagle there. Just there you go, Goodyear, and you can read the Eagle. So that's actually there. I mean, texture-wise, like I said, it's done really, really well. Like you said, we look for things, and some of the things we look for is like around the mirrors. Yeah. Sometimes there's glitches
it's quite nicely
down
polished.
in in-depth areas. It's done properly.
Yeah.
I must admit, don't the mirrors look a little bit cartoony? When you look at it, don't they look a little bit cartoony? Just the shape of them.
It's the red.
It's the red just standing up. But that's what it's like.
Yeah.
That is what it's like. But when you look at it, it just looks a little bit cartoony. That's not their fault.
Yeah.
But it just does. And
wow.
I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I didn't hit that on purpose, no. But when I did hit it, I did notice something quite interesting. But first, we're going to talk a bit more about the sounds. We did mention already. Yeah. The sounds are very solid. It does sound like a 1980s McLaren.
Yeah.
It does sound like a turbo.
Everything is there, except, like we mentioned,
that growl.
Yeah.
And it's in the replays. Inside the car, it seems to be okay.
Yeah.
It's just in the replays, you just miss that growl that was very, very well known with this car. Yeah. And it's a bit of a shame, but the turbo whine inside the car is so cool.
And by the way, we're just quite fussy.
Yeah, we have to be now. Yeah. The backfire, the other thing is, I think the backfire should be longer in duration, because when you hear this car coming down through the gears, it just backfires like nobody's business. So there's that. Now, you saw that knock. Yeah. I'm going to show you. I think I'm going to do another one in a few seconds.
Is that by purpose?
No, again, not by purpose. The slide isn't by purpose, which I'm sure I do it here. Is it here? No, it's probably on the next lap. But it is there that I do the slide. That's not by purpose, but then I go over a bump on purpose because I remember what happened. You just saw on that lap. Yeah. I remember what happens, and I want to test something. And that test is, one, obviously it's a Formula 1 car, it's not going to like bumps. We know that. Yeah. And it likes to stay on tarmac. If you go off the tarmac, even on the curb, it doesn't like it. It really doesn't like it. So that makes the car hard to drive on the limit. However, what I noticed is when I hit that bollard, which were coming round, the bollards miraculously they disappeared. The three are still standing, but the other ones just disappeared. But when I hit that bollard, I thought, hang on a minute, the back of the car has reacted wrong. It didn't react the way I thought it was going to react. It seems like on the high bump, so what David Coulthard and they call the sausage curbs here, it's, I suppose another word for them, sleeping policemen. That's what sleeping policemen will also call them. But I think because these ones are orange, I call them sausage curbs. They upset the car quite a bit, and the mod seems to at that point glitch out. And when I mean glitch out, I mean the back wheels. It doesn't look like the back wheels come in contact with the actual bollard or the sausage curb. Or
sorry, I'm just waiting for you to do that again. I'm doing.
Yeah, that's why I'm sort of holding back to try and. I'm sure it's coming up. Come around here. Yeah, I touch that inside curb. Go on the outside. I'm sure I spin it. There we go. I'm about to spin it. There it goes. See, like I said, it doesn't like. Now, I stopped it here without touching it. I was gonna go back, but now, did you see that in the replay box?
Yeah.
It didn't look like it did again. I was gonna do it again, but I thought, never mind. Yeah. But it didn't look like the back wheels touched it. It looks like it glitches out somewhere.
And it just jumped up.
Exactly, on the axle or something, it glitches out and it just throws the car up. Obviously, you're not going to be doing that, but that is a glitch that I found, and when I hit the bollard, I thought, hang on, I just need to check this. I'm not going to not take marks off because I'm not driving the car as it should be driven. So, for glitches on the or beyond its limit,
Yeah.
I think I can't take anything off. But there is a lot of power going to the rear wheel, so you have to be really careful.
Well, one thing I've noticed with this car, and you mentioned it anyway, but it's if you take this car off the road, it will strike back. It does not like it. So, I mean, if you want to get good laps, keep it on the tarmac.
Yeah, you do. You do want to keep it on the tarmac. I mean, you can touch the curbs, but ever so slightly only. You can see here, I mean, I'm coming in. You see, I touched that curb, that's fine. I touched that curb, that's fine. But there's a little bit after that curb, you probably saw that slight dip. If I went in that dip and I have a few laps, it was difficult to hold that car straight. It just did not like going down there. That being said, when you do hook up a lap, it does feel quite natural. You don't have to fight the car violently when you're hooking up a lap. You just need to gently coax it around. It's one of those cars that you've got to be gentle with it to really get a good lap time, but you've got to still be fast. So you've got to push the car, but only gently push the car. If you try and throw it around corners,
it's not going to happen.
It's not. Some cars you can do that with. The F2, sorry, not the F2006. What's it called? The F248, I think they call it. You can do that with because you can throw it into a corner, and yes, as long as it's not too violent, but you can still violently change direction and hold the car. This you can't. You can still brake hard in the modern F1 cars. This, if you brake too hard, you lock up wheels. I've done that a number of times, which that contributed to the spins as well. But the car still felt like a really good car. And lastly, the force feedback. It's quite well done. I mean, a common complaint in Assetto Corsa is the force feedback on some of these open wheelers. Now we try and be as conservative as we can on that, understanding that I think it's a limitation of Assetto Corsa at the moment, where in the normal cars you can get some pretty good force feedback, but on open wheelers it seems to cause issues. So we sort of turn more of a blind eye and say, as long as we can feel the road and feel feel what's going on, it's good force feedback. This had pretty good force feedback. You could feel the road more than you can in most open wheelers. Like the F248, you could feel the road, but not as much. The F2002 was very good. This car is also similarly good, so very well done there. And I didn't have to actually play around with settings. I didn't have to up the force feedback levels or anything, which I had to do with the other cars. So I'm quite happy about that. Rating it, I think we've got an extra lap.
I'm gonna go old school now.
Oh, so you're gonna give it A to F?
Yeah. I'm gonna start doing that.
Okay.
I think numbers don't generally. And that's me.
I mean, I'll do both. I'll say both.
I'm gonna say A minus, B plus.
Okay.
That sort of bracket.
So, if we put that into numbers.
Oh, shall I just give numbers? This is going to be too much of a fact.
I was going to say, because we're going with numbers,
Okay,
but no, I mean, I agree with you on that, actually.
Okay.
So it's about,
9.
you're looking about 9
9
and a half. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you with that completely. I think we're probably knocking it down slightly because of the sound on the replay. But apart from that, it's just personal feel on the car. The car's great, don't get us wrong, and definitely worth a download. But obviously, I think because we grew up in a slightly different era, where we're slightly more biased to the cars of the 90s and 2000s.
It's horrible saying that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great car, but I think my main
download it. Honestly, all of you, I recommend downloading it.
It's definitely, I think, possibly one of the top 3 F1 cars.
Yeah.
But we can't give every single one 10, can we?
No.
It's just personal preference. I think other people would give it 10. We're giving it 9.5.
If it was one of the first few cars we reviewed, it possibly would have been a 10.
Actually, if this was the first car we ever reviewed, I think this would have been a 25. Compared to, some of them were quite...
Right, calm down.
Let's be honest. But on a serious note, it's well worth a download. So download links will be in the description box below. Coming through Stowe, we're coming up to the last few corners, and that's where we're going to end this video. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to our channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa, and leave a comment in the comments box below once you've downloaded this car, and let us know what you think of it, because it's a very, 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 very good car. We'll hope to see you guys next week.